Hello, my name is Rich and welcome to That Gaming Show. You know, when they released Final Fantasy VII Remake last year, I was completely in awe of it. I loved everything about it, the new game style, the fact that we get to spend way more time in Midgar than we originally did. Everything about it was right up my street. It was perfect for me. That's probably the best way I describe it. And then, obviously, when the game ended, I played it again on hard mode, I got all the trophies, I platinumed the hell out of it, and I loved every single minute of it. And for me personally, it was my game of the year. It is the perfect combination of a game that I wanted to play when I was younger, when I first discovered Final Fantasy VII, and it was one that I just kind of clicked with, you know? It doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes you just get those games you just kind of click with. And obviously then I entered into the long wait for the rest of the game, the bit outside of Midgar. And also the rest of the characters, you know, we only saw some of the characters. And of course, one of the characters we were missing was the legendary ninja, Yuffie. A really fun, kind of light-hearted character, different to the moody, kind of angsty Cloud. You know, looks like he's constantly listening to a Linkin Park album, which I love, by the way, I love Linkin Park. And suddenly out of nowhere, they announced Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, which is basically, we probably should call it intermission, really, that's pretty much what it is. Something to kind of keep the gamers going, keep them interested, and let them know that, oh yeah, there's more game coming, don't you worry, but you just have to wait a little bit. And it's a nice little 2-chapter, I'm going to say 5-hour playthrough, depending on if you do all the side stuff, which I'll get to in a bit. But I actually really liked it. It gave me a chance to get back into the game again and just discover kind of what Yuffie's role is in this whole big story. And it's a lot of fun. So let's just get stuck in as I ask the question, what is Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade? God damn this mouthful. And should you be playing it? The story runs alongside Cloud's story, just shortly after the second reactor explosion. I can't quite remember which one it was. 4? And you play as Yuffie, the Wu-Tai ninja. Well, technically, Materia Hunter Ninja. Ninja Materia Hunter. I don't know which one to refer to her as. And you basically send us on a quest to infiltrate Shinra and try and get their most valuable materia. And you're joined by Sonon. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. Sonon. He couldn't have a normal name like Kev, could he? No, he just couldn't. And together you revisit Sector 7 slums, take down bad guys, and even make it into the Shinra building. And without trying to spoil it too much, it's alright. It's kind of harmless. It's obviously an intermission. It's nothing to be taken too seriously. It's just a way really to kind of expand on Yuffie as a character. If you missed it, I don't think you'd really miss much. You get a little bit more of a backstory to, you know, what Shinra have been up to, you know, the things they've built and kind of the bad guys they've got in play, which may make an appearance in the final game, I don't know. It'd be cool to see them make an appearance in the final game, because from what I've seen, they look freaking terrifying. So it'd be really cool to kind of see Cloud go toe-to-toe with them, but obviously this is kind of just establishing what they are. See, I already spoiled the story too much more than that, because loads of people love this game, and rightly so, it's freaking awesome. But unfortunately, the Intergrade DLC is a PS5 exclusive, and not everyone can get a PS5, which is really shit. Even now, in 2021, we still have a shortage of PS5s. It's completely ridiculous. The world has gone topsy-turvy with scalpers, and I still don't understand how people can be genuinely that shit as a person. It's a conversation for another time, but yeah, unfortunately, you can't play it unless you have a PS5. But obviously, with that being said, on the PlayStation 5, this game looked phenomenal. The graphics are insane, the lighting effects, the textures. There's a little bit of glitching with Yuffie when she's wearing her cloak, but that's probably the only thing I would say is a bit weird. But ultimately, it looks really pretty. Obviously, a slight improvement on the PS4. I mean, to be fair, it looked amazing on the PS4 anyway, but that's just my kind of opinion. Some people go out of their way to notice frame rates and graphics and, you know, all that, and resolutions and things like that. Whereas to me, I'm not really fussed as long as the game looks pretty and plays well, which this game plays really well. But also notably is the gameplay for her character is also really good. You have the inclusion here of the boomerang, which acts not only as a weapon, but also acts as kind of like a puzzle mechanic, which is quite cool. Like hitting switches from afar to activate elevators or special doors or what have you. And again, the gameplay is really good. The battle mechanic is as good as I remembered it. However, the main difference, I guess, is that you can only control Yuffie. Even though you have Sonon that joins you in your adventure, you can't actually control him. You can give him special commands during battle, but apart from that, he's pretty much no touchy. Which I guess is okay. It's not really a deal breaker to not be able to play as the other character, but I guess it would have been nice to be able to control him a little bit, to kind of just see like how his character kind of plays. I mean, to be honest with you, he's kind of useless, really. He's okay, I just didn't really notice him that much in battles. The only time I think is notable is when you have this link mechanic. When they both have at least 1 bar of ATB, they can do a combo move where they do a lot more damage. You do that when you press L2 to kind of trigger this link mechanic. I'm pretty sure also when you press L2, he also attacks the same person you're attacking rather than going off and doing his own thing. It's not really a major challenge though, that's probably one thing I would say. It's not hard, it got tricky in places, mainly the boss battles, which are quite cool and quite rememberable. That's the one thing 7 did really well, these big epic moments with bosses, and like the challenge of taking them down, it just really sits with you. And the same is to be said here. There's only like 2 boss battles though, really, but they're still fun. The one thing about the gameplay that really surprised me was this added extra game mode called Thought Condor, which is a strategic board game where you have 3 totems each, and you summon pieces to go take down your enemy's totems as well as defending your own. It's a really fun distraction, actually. I liked it, I really got into it, I found it to be really fun. There actually are quite a few people to play against in Sector 7, and you can find these flyers around the area and trade them in for coins and buy player pieces from this turtle guy. I mean, it sounds really weird out of context, but it all makes sense. And that way you can upgrade your board, you can buy new pieces to use, and it's just really fun to kind of play around it, mix and match, almost like a deck. Obviously, the bigger the enemy, the more time you have to wait for your bar to fill up to then summon them. It reminds me a little bit of Dungeon Dice Monsters, you know, just a smidge, mixed in with Hearthstone. You know, that whole kind of saving up your bar mechanic to summon things. There's probably another game that's very similar to it, but I honestly have no idea what it is. Please let me know what it's similar to in the comment section below. I'd actually be quite interested in checking it out. Who's got more damage, me or him? Do I win? Yes! I just narrowly freaking won! Ah! The only thing I would say is kind of a problem is Yuffie's aim and where you can throw your boomerang is kind of bad, really. That's probably the only major problem. I think it's only really in this minigame segment I really noticed it to be a major problem, which you have to break all these boxes in a certain time limit to earn points, and that's fine. And one of the trophies is you have to basically get the highest score available in this game, and I can't seem to do it, and it seems to really anger me. And also the tone is just so much more different in this game. The music is more upbeat and playful, which reflects this story and its characters. Because Yuffie is this likeable rogue, she doesn't get a lot of things right, but she is a badass. And like I said, the music sets the tone really well. It's just that kind of game. It's lighthearted and it's fun, with a hint of seriousness mixed in there as well when it needs to be. So I guess that brings us round to the almighty question, should you be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade? Still can't get around how ridiculously long that name is. I have no idea why they called it that. They could have just called it DLC 1 or Yuffie Story or something, I freaking know. And honestly, I think if you really enjoyed Final Fantasy VII Remake and you wanted a little bit more to kind of keep you going until they release the rest of the game, which for some reason angered a lot of people before last year. I don't know why, like there was loads of content in the main game, more than enough to keep you going. But honestly, if you really liked it and you do happen to have a PlayStation 5, I would highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun, the story is fine, it's just expanding on this world a bit more and establishing a few more characters. I mean, any excuse to get me back into Midgar, I'm gonna take it. The game looks so damn pretty, if you haven't noticed already, and the gameplay is pretty freaking smooth and responsive. But ultimately, it's a nice filler, it's a nice intermission from playing the remake last year to playing the rest of the game, hopefully sometime in the near future. If they bring out more of these little DLC kind of intermission things, I wouldn't really mind it too much. Especially if it's kind of establishing some really cool famous characters from the original game. That would actually be kind of cool to kind of have those little stories, these little mini stories, kind of like where are they right now in terms of the overall story, and then that would then help when we eventually do get to play the rest of the game. That wouldn't be a big problem. If they don't release any more, that's fine. If they do, I'm all for it. It allows me to kind of play for a few hours, get back into that world again, and then go, yeah, that was really nice. And then go off and play something else. What's even more hilarious is that if you've platinumed the game on PS4, upload and then download your save again on the PS5, you can basically get a free platinum again. It is potentially one of the easiest platinums I've ever got in my entire life, and I played The Walking Dead. It's a really fun intermission, and if you like the original, then I would highly recommend you get this. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. It's a game you should be playing. So what do you think of my opinions? Do you have opinions of your own? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. If you want to see me review other games, then please just let me know in the comment section below. Either way, thank you very much for watching. My name is Rich, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra. Hey, before you go, make sure you check out my other videos as well. Feel free to go check out my other episodes of Should You Play. Also check out my first reactions to some games I've been playing recently, like Resident Evil 4 or Abe's Odyssey. Have they gone? Have they clicked off the video? Oh, thank God for that.